finally gathered the confidence and the courage, rather, let me say the courage, to do a video for the real reason, or the main reason why I had created a YouTube channel. And that is to talk about tech or software development. And this video, I hope, will encourage anyone out there, especially women, this is more directed towards women, who are curious about the tech industry, but they feel intimidated for whatever reason. Well, there are obvious reasons, of course. It is still currently very male dominated, and I feel there's a lot of room for women to still join the tech industry. And when I say tech, I'm specifically referring to software development, because that is the industry that I have the most knowledge on. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I have worked in software development specifically for about 9 and something years now. So it's almost 10 years, it's almost a decade now. And I have had the opportunity to move between different roles. And I feel like, I feel like I found my sweet spot, but that might not be true, because there's always new stuff. Okay, something popped up on my thing. I should put on a do not disturb. And I feel like that's not really true, because now something has popped up. It's been there, but now it has piqued my interest, and it's something that I'm starting to explore. Okay, so yeah, I currently work as an automation or test automation engineer. That's the correct way to describe it. What I do is I write software that tests software. That's like my main job function. And I know writing software is some form of software in itself, but it's totally different. And so I guess that's some context. I have worked as a business analyst, and what a business analyst does, and I'm breaking it down so that you realize that software engineering or software development is actually not as intimidating as it sounds or as it appears to be. So as a business analyst, my role, or generally the role of a business analyst, is to gather requirements. And by that I mean, when software needs to be built, software being an application, an app that you use on your phone, your banking app, or Instagram or Facebook, for example, when that software needs to be built, or even a website, it still counts as software being built, because that is, someone has to program that, right? So what happens is someone wants some software built with particular functionality. That is to say, for example, if it is, let's use Facebook, for example. If I log onto Facebook and create an account, I want to be able to make friends, or send a friend request to someone I know. That can be described as functionality. So what a business analyst does is that they get that requirement. Wanting to do something with an application or software is a requirement. Wanting to do that is gathering. So what a business analyst does is that there's someone who wants something done by the software. Generally, it is the person who's paying for the functionality to be built, because they have seen an opportunity that could make them money or add to their processes that could save them money. Let's just say a business wants a piece of functionality created or an application created for them. And what a business analyst does is that they gather that information from the business, and I'm using that term loosely, or whoever is paying for the application, for example, and then translate what people are saying, right? Business people, to the software developers. it might seem like such a trivial thing to do, but the fact that you could be intimidated by software development is because you actually don't understand what the tech or the developers are saying. So a business analyst is almost like a translator, and I use that term loosely because there's a lot that actually goes into the translation. There's a way to document those requirements that would have been gathered. They sort of manage expectations between the business and the developers and communicate what the developers are able to do or what they're not able to do. So a business analyst is more of a go-between. So that's the other role that I did. And then I worked as a Scrum Master. So a Scrum Master is almost like a project manager, but not quite. They sort of manage the process once the requirements have been gathered by the business analyst with the developers to make sure that things are going on track with the software development team. So the Scrum Master is more focused with the team. I could loosely say almost a protector of the development team. And I guess we can talk about why the development team needs protection at some other point in the future. But yeah, basically those are the roles that I have had the opportunity of working in the software development space over the past almost decade. And I've had the most experience with the software testing, and now more recently, and recently I mean a couple of years, it's been over 4 years now, as a test automation engineer. These terms, they're not actually as hectic, but loosely you can say a tester. So I've worked as a tester, a Scrum Master, and a business analyst. And I would like to say to anyone who's not sure where to start when it comes to software development, my suggestion is that start as a tester. And I know I did say I write code to test software, but that's like next level testing, if I can put it that way. There is manual testing, which you can do with very little to no experience. And why I say testing, I feel like it will open up your understanding when it comes to technology or software development. And it would then make you aware of, first of all, the language that is used within the industry. It would make you become more informed of the options that are available within the industry. You don't always, just because you start off as one thing in software development doesn't mean you're doomed to that role. Like, there's so much room for growth, so much room for opportunity, so many opportunities to reinvent yourself and try out different things depending on the organization that you're working for. And you don't even have to be restricted to an organization. There's the internet now. You have so many options in terms of software development. So it's not too late. That's what I want to say. It's not too late to start. And my key thing would be start as a software tester. So a software tester manually generally checks, for example, I'll use the simplest of examples, which is, I guess, how most people can start testing. Let's say an application is being built, and let's take it back to Facebook. When I visit facebook.com, I want to be able to log in, right? That is a requirement that a business analyst has gathered. I want to be able to log in successfully and see my home page. I don't know if Facebook has a home page, but a general website, you log in, you see your home page to that account. The developer would have written code to make sure that a user, when they visit the website, is able to actually log in and see their homepage. So you, as a tester, test that to make sure that that is okay, that is actually working correctly. And again, it might seem trivial, but it is not. So what you're actually testing now is the different possible scenarios that could happen with logging in. So the first one is obviously logging in successfully with the correct username and password, right? And being able to see your homepage. That's scenario one. The next scenario is you try and log in with when you try and log in with the wrong username and correct password. The second scenario could be you log in with the correct username and the wrong password. The fourth is both password and username are wrong. Fifth scenario is either the password is empty or the username is empty. These are different scenarios that, and I'm not even done, by the way, that's another login process. These are different scenarios that could happen from a user's perspective, like someone actually trying to log in. So the one that should work out of the 5 that I've mentioned, and I'm going to keep it to 5 just to make it simple. The one that should work or pass successfully, actually all of them should pass, but the passing looks different. So the first one is you log in. Okay, so I got cut off there. My phone ran out of space, so now I'm continuing with my iPad. So like I said, I'm sticking to the 5 scenarios, right? And of the 5, all of them should pass, even though passing looks different. So obviously when you log on with the correct username and password, you want to be able to log on successfully. Sometimes the code might be written that even with the correct username and password it fails, so you need to make sure that that is working correctly. That's the happy path. Name the happy path. Everything goes well, nothing goes wrong. That's the first scenario that you check. Then the other scenarios where there's an incorrect username or incorrect password, that should not let you log in. So if it doesn't let you log in successfully, then that is a pass, because it's doing what it's supposed to do, validating that the details that have been supplied to this website are correct by this particular user. Also, if one of the field items is missing, if the username or password are missing, then that should also not let you log in and see the homepage. So if that happens, then it's a pass. If for any of the negative scenarios you are able to log in successfully, then that test has failed. Does that make sense? I hope what I'm saying is clear enough. That is what testing is in a nutshell. And to do that, you don't need to understand any code. The code would have already been written. You then get to access this website on a Play environment. I'll use Play for now. You use that in a temporary environment or temporary website before it is moved on to production or a live environment where actual real users in the real world can actually log in. So in the case of Facebook, when these changes are made, right, they won't be visible on facebook.com where anyone who has access to the internet can access. You would be using maybe www.playfacebook.com, and then you test there, and when all of your scenarios have passed, and by passed I mean you have the expected outcomes, then that piece of functionality can then be moved to the real website, which is facebook.com. So that's testing in a very watered down version. I hope I did not sound condescending, but I made this video for people who have no prior knowledge of software development, who are wanting to explore that option for themselves, so that they realize that it's actually not as intimidating as they might feel or as it might seem to be, and that there is room for people to still venture in. So why I believe software testing is the gateway, because of the login example that I've given you. Once you do that a couple of times, it builds your confidence. You then become more confident, and when you become confident, you may find yourself feeling curious and wanting to explore other avenues, other parts that have to do with software testing. So with software testing, like I said, I work in automation testing, which is where you write code to test the software. So that's one form of testing. Then there's performance testing, where you test, again using Facebook as an example, where you test that if 1 million users are logging into Facebook at the same time, does Facebook's responses change? Does it still load the homepage as quickly as it would if, let's say, 5 people were logging into the website? That's performance testing, seeing how a system or an app performs when it has the maximum possible capacity. And it depends on the application as well. There's also functional testing, which is what we spoke about, where you're checking that functionality is working as it should. Then within that functional testing, there's back-end testing. There's stuff that happens in the background with databases as well. All of these different avenues of software testing are channels that one can then further explore should they find themselves more curious. And you can also stay within the manual testing space, where you're actually physically logging in to a website. That is manual testing, and there'll always be a place for manual testing regardless of what is happening with technology. Even my sister's like sending me messages. Regardless of what's happening. Oh, okay, let me put on do not disturb. Okay, so regardless of what is happening within the technology space right now, like with AI and all of these other things, there'll always be room for manual testing. So if you feel you want to try out tech or software development and testing, manual testing is it for you, then that's also okay. At least you'd have tried something new, and there's so many opportunities for testing online. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Please comment and let me know what you think, if this is something that interests you, if I've broken it down for you in a way that feels encouraging to actually try out software development. I will be making more videos like this in the future, because this is actually where my passion is. I actually enjoy what I do, and I'll be sharing more about opportunities that I'm considering to explore. Yeah, so let me know what you think. I'd really appreciate your feedback if this is helpful. Yeah, and if there is anything specifically that you'd like me to zoom into and focus on, that would be great. So yeah, I hope to see you soon again in a tech video. Okay, bye guys.